Marketing for a wedding photography business is completely different than marketing for any other type of business. So it's really hard to pinpoint exactly why it feels so different as a wedding photographer to find clients versus any other business trying to find clients. But I feel like it has a lot to do with the fact that weddings are expensive, they're very emotional, it's a one-time event, and there's so much trust involved. There's gotta be a relationship there. So what I wanna focus on today are some marketing tips that are very wedding specific that I've used for over 16 years that are tried and true, have stood the test of time. So I want to focus on those today. All right, so tip number one is to be a human. And you're going to think, wait, what does that even mean? How is that even helpful? I'll tell you. Most photographers think that if their work is fancy enough, if it is elevated enough, if it's luxury enough, that they are going to attract people who are going to spend bukus of money in order to have them book them as their wedding photographer. And I just have to say, that rarely happens. It rarely happens. You have to either be at the top 10% of the fine art luxury world and you're referred to by all these different planners, or you've got to be a photographer who has a personal brand. Pretty images are not enough. Pretty images can just be AI generated these days. So if pretty images are what's driving your marketing and you've fallen flat more than once, it's probably going to become even more of a trend. The world has enough pretty images. What the world needs more of is authentic people running authentic businesses. So why is this so important specifically for wedding photographers and for wedding clients? Well, it's because I'm going to be right by my bride's side as her mom zips her into her wedding gown. I'm thinking about for my own daughter, whoever is welcomed into that very sacred, long-awaited, much celebrated space better be someone that I trust and love being in the presence of. How are you going to know if you like being in the presence of someone if you've only seen a headshot with them holding a camera? You're not going to know. You've never heard their voice. You don't know anything about them except that they have a nice camera and they take some pretty images. For a wedding photographer, they have to build more trust than anybody else. And I would even say the photographers that can build the most trust are the photographers who get to charge the most money. So can you book clients off of a reel on Instagram or ads on Instagram? Is that possible? Of course it's possible, definitely, but it's more transactional, right? They saw something visual, they like it, your price point matches how much money they want to spend, and then they book you, and that's great. But the quality of clients that you're going to get from that way of running a business is not a legacy trajectory. That's not going to form this ongoing word of mouth marketing that just grows into something bigger over time. That's more of a transaction, whereas I think wedding photographers need to build a marketing strategy off of trust. So point number two is that word of mouth marketing is the best form of marketing because it does the work for you. So if you do the work of point number one, then that feeds into point number two, and you don't ever have to market for yourself again. I did the whole personal brand thing when I first started my business because I honestly didn't have money to market any other way. And what happened is that once I got out of those first few years, I gave people an amazing client experience. People raved about me. They loved what I created. They loved the way I made them feel. Then after I got out of that college phase, I didn't market at all. I was booked out because the people who attended the weddings that were in my bridal parties, little sisters were getting married, people were talking about me, and I couldn't keep up. And I was even increasing my price point drastically. So for me, when I think about what is the best practice for a wedding photographer when it comes to marketing, it's understanding that if you do the right things first, the snowball effect is going to grow your marketing strategy for you. I think a lot of wedding photographers don't understand that the way you show up to an engagement session is directly affecting whether or not you're going to book weddings 2 years from then. So if you don't create a great experience for your current clients and you don't view your current clients and your current opportunities as marketing opportunities of the future, then you are going to hit a drought in your bookings. We've got to give the people now an amazing experience that they love. They feel confident when they leave working with you. They love the images. You had a great personality. You were engaging in conversation. You took time to get to know them beforehand. All the things. That is feeding you years of marketing and bookings to come. So a bride that loves you and that had an amazing wedding day and you gave her a beautiful experience and her maid of honor witnessed all of that, that maid of honor is way more likely to book you than a random person that finds you on the Explore page on Instagram. And this is why it is so valuable for wedding photographers to run their business this way, not focused on the trends as much as they are the relationships. Point number 3 is to recognize that there's marketing opportunity in everything. And this is going to bring point number 1, point number 2, and point number 3. It's all going to be full circle. So I want you to imagine that you photographed this wedding and there was a friend at the wedding that just absolutely fell in love with you, right? She got to watch you shoot one of her friend's weddings and she loved the images. She loved the same day slideshow. She just was wowed by you. And then she goes to follow you on Instagram, and instead of getting this genuine, authentic version of you that she experienced at a wedding, she gets the version of you that's trying so hard on social media to do the trends, to go viral, you're focused on all the wrong things instead of just being yourself. That's going to be a big disconnect for somebody. What if you took the humanized version of you, the authentic, relatable, I'm a real person vibe from point number 1 and made sure that was represented in social media? Then the people that are doing the word of mouth marketing, they just continue to love you instead of having a disconnect. Now you're going to say, well, Katelyn, what about all the people that are just going to find me on social media? I guarantee you 100% someone who just finds you on social media, a random follower, is going to like you more if you are just showing up and being an extension of who you are at wedding days or extension of who you are in engagement sessions. They're going to love that version of you way better than the person who's trying to look like you have this really trendy Instagram account. Why all this works so specifically for weddings is because think about it, like we don't need to go viral on a reel. We don't need 5 million views. We need 40 clients a year. You know, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. Maybe you need 15, maybe you need 50. But like, we don't need massive volumes of people. We just need to find the right people. So focusing on strengthening trust and building relationships and being the same person that people experience on a wedding day on social media and showing up and being a human and being someone that people connect with, that's going to give you a way better chance of finding your ideal clients than a reel that goes viral to all these people in the world that aren't even located near you. They're never going to book you as a wedding photographer. I'll be honest with you, I am still booking weddings and I still shoot portrait sessions, but my main thing is that I'm an educator. I went viral recently about a mat at the lake and it got 8 million views. That did nothing but hurt me in the algorithm because a few weeks after that, everything tanked on Instagram because I got all this engagement in a part of the industry. I'm not even a part of the water sports industry. I didn't even get sponsored from that reel. It's so dumb. So I'm like, my goal, I don't care if I go viral. It did nothing but hurt my business. What I want to focus on is getting people in who love me for who I am, who trust who I am, and then will invest in what I'm teaching them, or back in the day, several years ago, would trust me with their wedding day. So focusing on connection and being a human, while also making sure that you understand that your word of mouth marketing is the most powerful part of your business, and then taking that full circle and making sure that when people find you, that you're exactly who they thought you would be. That is the marketing strategy of a very successful wedding photographer that you can use until, I think, the end of time. No one's ever going to not want to have a genuine person show up on their wedding day. So in closing, if you want to build a wedding photography business that lasts, you have to have something that perpetually grows and builds upon itself. What you can't keep doing is starting from scratch every year, trying to find 40 new leads that are going to love you and book you. And also, if that's your model, if you don't take this like build trust, be a real person, form a relationship with your clients, have an amazing client experience so that they do word of mouth marketing, if that's not the approach you take, you are basically starting over every single year trying to find a new group of people. And that is just it's going to wear on you, and you'll never be able to raise your prices. Because even though you might have a group of 40 this year, if you're not treating them well with what we've talked about in this whole video, as soon as you raise your prices, you got to find a whole new group of people. That doesn't happen when you have this growing, beautiful relationship with all of your past clients and their family and their friends, and you give them an amazing experience. I would say that all of my friends in the industry who've been doing this for over 10 years, they've taken this approach. They care about their clients, they care about serving people, they give them an amazing client experience, and they allow their clients to get to know who they are as human beings, and they form friendships. You can do it a different way. I just think it's exhausting. And I didn't even speak to the fact that I think this is the way that you combine purpose and passion. When you build relationships with people and you also provide them with a service that lets you use your creativity, ultimately I think there's a fulfilling aspect of that builds people up and allows them to see that they can make a difference in the world. So if you've never thought about your photography that way, welcome to a whole new world. Welcome to thinking about your career in a very different light. It's a very rewarding way to run a photography business. So I hope this was helpful. If you enjoyed this and you don't really understand exactly so what do you mean? You treat them a certain way, you give them a certain experience. The best way you can start learning about that is to watch me actually work with my clients in real life settings, which is why I created my KJ All Access membership. You can watch me shoot behind the scenes, family sessions, weddings, maternity, all these things. You can see real life what it looks like to be a KJ client. So I'll put a link to that below. If you enjoyed this, make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss a video in the future. Bye.
Bye.